Hi, class. All right. When you join your project, you may come up with some feedback, right? And so this slide would come up, and here's some feedback for you. And then, whatever I've said, um, you're going to want to write it here, right? Respond to whatever question I've asked you in this box right here. And then, by this point, we should be well along in this project. We should be up to the point where we're putting it all together. All right. Um, so, I gave you this drawing tool, but it's not really that effective unless you just have some sketches or you wanted to use the text box. You could use the text box if you want to write on here. And then you could put your answer, right? So what does it mean to become a more conscious citizen of this terrible, wonderful world? Well, what do you think? I wanted you to think about Star and how she behaves in the film and the book, and then compare it with some of the ideas, right? So you're going to put some general statement. This is going to be your thesis statement, really, if you've used that idea before. Just answering that question, though, will create it. Make sure you put the question in the answer. All right, and then, over here, you're going to want to put some ideas and quotes from The Hate U Give. Again, you could use a text box. Now, if this format is too small for you, I've got links to the Word files that I will send with you in the email, and you can use the Word file, the Google Doc file instead. Or you could just sketch something like this in a notebook like I've used before. I don't know where my notebook got to. But you just sketch this in a notebook and create your own graphic organizer. Because this is the idea of let me put together my thinking before I write it out. As you can see, we're really aiming at a 5-paragraph essay. One about this, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 is the application to your own life. All right, so either use the text box tool to write answers here, or you'll use the attachment that comes with this email to go to the Word file or the PDF file. All right. And then when we get here, I've given you the structure of the single paragraph outline because I want to make sure that each of these questions is done in a paragraph, right? A full paragraph. And so this single paragraph outline, which I'll also link you to a video on the how-to of this, you know, every time there's a solid line, you do a topic sentence, and then these are just for planning out your ideas. You use symbols. Your topic sentence should be more complex. Potentially a sentence type like this one is a exclamation. You could also use an appositive. I've taught those. But you want to make sure you're writing a complete sentence. So not just a one-word answer like you did on the last page, but now explain more. How is that true? How do you know that that's true? What evidence do you have? From which text or source? And again, we've got several sources here, right? You've got the movie The Hate U Give, could be the book too if you read that. There's also the James Baldwin piece, there's the Ta-Nehisi Coates piece, and there is your own life experience, your schema. All of that is relevant in developing your thoughts about what it means to become a more conscious citizen of this terrible, wonderful world. Break that down, right? What does conscious mean? Look it up. You've got Google right there. What is a conscious citizen? And then how is this world terrible and how is it wonderful? What do you think? You may need to free write about that before you can craft it into proper paragraphs and sentences, but take your time. This is what we're doing this week. By Wednesday, I want you to have a first draft in here because I'm going to close the Pear Deck out, send you a Google Doc of what you've got, and then by Friday, you'll put together your essay. It should just be mostly cutting and pasting and editing at that point, and I will give you lessons on how to do that as well. But you'll see there's 5 paragraphs here with a conclusion, how it connects to your life and the conclusions you've come to it based on your study. And then you are done, right? To submit, the assignment is going to close on the 27th. That is tomorrow, the end of tomorrow. You're going to make sure that you've read over and edited your work, and spelling and punctuation are part of the grade, right? I will be emailing you what I receive with my feedback, and at this point, you're going to revise it and submit it for a higher score. I'm not even really going to score it this time. I'm just going to give you feedback. And then there's these rubrics that you can take a look at and understand how they work. This one is about writing. And again, this is why I want you to write in full paragraphs, because you're going to get points for each of the full paragraphs you write. This is worth 100 points for that actually writing topic sentences, detail sentences. I'll give more instruction on this on Thursday. And finally, you're also going to be graded on whether or not you understood the Ta-Nehisi Coates and the Baldwin pieces. So this is about how well you understand that and identify the ideas they're sharing and connect them to relevant and supporting things outside, right? So both skills are important, and I know that you will do well on this task. The work I've been seeing so far is good thinking. Now it's time to put all that thinking together, right? You can still go back and do parts of the project that you didn't do before. It's not over, but tomorrow night, about midnight, I will be sending out your work.